Shabbat Shalom. It is good to be here this morning. I'm thankful for another Sabbath, another day of rest. Moreover, just thankful how Yah deals with us. I want to know more about His Word. I want to meditate more on His Word. Just thankful for who that He is. He's so merciful. He's so good to us. The more that He gives us, the more we just want to draw closer to Him. Thankful for the fellowship that we have here. But moreover than that, this is a time to come and to hear from Yah. What does Yah have for you this morning in His Word? So I pray that everybody, whether you're out there in Facebook land or YouTube land, or whether you're in the congregation, Yah will give you something in this Word, because He always blesses me personally whenever we study. So if you would, let's go ahead and stand. This morning we're going to turn to Isaiah 59. We talked about Isaiah 59 not too long ago, because people often teach that through the history of Israel, they all rebelled. Every one of them. There was no one that was good. But that's not what any of those scriptures say whenever you dig into them. The one that says that there is no one good, those are the ones that reject God. Those are the ones that reject Yah. If you read that in Psalms, there is none good, no, not one. They have all sought their own way, so on and so forth. It's talking about those who say that there is no God. Okay. Also, if you read through the scriptures, Yah preserves the 7,000 that did not bow the knee to Baal. And you see even in Jeremiah, you see in Isaiah, there was no justice toward the righteous. And as we read in Isaiah, and it talks about, it's either in Isaiah or Jeremiah, where it says that those that live a righteous life make themselves pray. They make themselves pray. So it's not that there was no one righteous, there was no justice in those times. So we'll start off in Isaiah 59 as soon as I get there. Isaiah 59 and verse 15. So we can get the backstory before we go into Isaiah 60. So Isaiah 59 and 15. And the truth is lacking, and whoever turns away from evil makes himself a prey. And Yah saw, and it displeased Him that there was no right ruling. So there was no justice for those who sought justice. And He saw that there was no man, and was astonished that there was no intercessor. So His own arm saved for Him, and His righteousness upheld Him. And He put on righteousness as a breastplate, and a helmet of deliverance on His head. And He put on garments of vengeance for clothing, and wrapped Himself with ardor as a mantle. According to their deeds, so He repays wrath to His adversaries, recompense to His enemies. He repays recompense to the coastlands, and they shall revere the name of Yah from the west, and His esteem from the rising of the sun, when He comes like a distressing stream, which the Ruach of Yah drives on. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and to those turning from transgression in Yaakov declares Yah. As for me, this is my covenant with them, and we'll get into that. Said Yah, my Ruach that is upon you, and my words that I have put in your mouth shall not be withdrawn from your mouth, nor from the mouth of your descendants, nor from the mouth of your descendants' descendants, said Yah, from this time and forever. Let us lift up our eyes. Yah, thank you for this time that you've given us, Yah. Thank you for your love, your mercy, your truth. You are so good and you are so kind to us, Yah. Even in your correction, you are kind. You are merciful. Yah, we just are humble before you. As we taught last week, Yah, your reverence is self-discipline. The reverence of Yah is self-control. May we be able to live a righteous life, Yah, even as we continue to read through this word, that the righteousness, Yah, it will preserve your people. Righteousness will prevail. So may we be dutiful to you, Yah, and just keep all reverence and understanding of your word, that we might purge our lives of sin, Yah, and just look unto you, for you are our hope. Lead, guide, and direct us. Speak for us at this time, Yah, unto your people, that they would say that you have met with them and been personal and joined yourself to us, Yah, we pray. Speak for us. Baruch Hashem, hallelujah, amen. So we're going to read through that again, because there's just great points that we read in Isaiah 59. So Isaiah 59 and 15, and the truth is lacking, and whoever turns away from evil makes himself a prey. And we talked about that in connection to the New Testament, that they say that there is no one who can do righteousness. That connects right to this, that Yah says you can do righteousness, but anybody who turns away from doing evil, they'll tell you, you can't do that. There's no way you can do that. You're an unclean, unsaved person. You're low, you're degraded, you're nothing without Jesus. They've got to beat you down before you will convert to their religion. You got to be at your lowest point before you can convert. There's nowhere else to go. And then they present you Jesus. But Yah says they were turning from evil. They were repenting. And the truth is lacking, and whoever turns away from evil makes himself a prey. And Yah saw it, and it displeased him that there was no right ruling or justice. There was no justice for the widow, for the poor, the priests, the kings. They were wicked. They weren't helping. There was no justice. And that's the same thing that's happening today. You have the judges, the officials, the government that does not want to help. They're greedy for gain. They will not help the poor. It's rampant throughout the earth. You know why? Because they won't help. There's no system. And I'm not a person for socialism. By no means. You work, and when you work, you get paid. But we have a lot of mental illness today of people that are oppressed and trodden down, and there's no hope for them. So there's no help for them. If you don't have insurance, there's no help for you. If you're not a part of the system, there's no help for you. And that's the way that they have set it up. And he saw that there was no man, and was astonished that there was no intercessor. So they were turning away from evil, but there was no one to help them. No one to say that you're doing right, and to guard them and protect them. So his own arm saved for him, and his righteousness upheld him. And he put on righteousness as a breastplate, and a helmet of deliverance on his head. And he put on garments of vengeance for clothing, and wrapped himself with ardor as a mantle. According to their deeds, so he repays wrath to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. He repays recompense to the coastlands. And they shall revere the name of Yah. We talked about that last week. The reverence of Yah, the beginning of the reverence of Yah is wisdom, as it talks about in Proverbs. But wisdom is what? Skill. The skill to do what? Say, I don't need to do this, and I do need to do this, and I'm going to forsake this and go this way. That's self-control. The ability to control what you do. One of my favorite things to think about is self-awareness. Are you aware fully of your being this morning? How what you do affects the others around you. That's my favorite thing. Figure how what you say affects others. Even as it talks about in Proverbs, the power of the tongue has life and death. You can break down and you can lift up. And you know what? I choose to lift up. I choose to encourage. So you have that power within you. Continuing on. So he says, they shall revere me. Why? Because of his correction. From the west it is esteemed, from the rising of the sun, when he comes like a distressing stream, which the Ruach of Yah drives on. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and to those turning from transgression in Yaakov declares Yah. So yes, there were people in Isaiah's time that were righteous. Yes, there were people that were turning from transgression. And Yah said, I'm going to deliver them. What is he going to do? He's going to recompense. He's going to repay wrath to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. Who are his enemies? The enemies of Israel. The enemies of his people. The Redeemer shall come to Zion, and to those turning from transgression in Yaakov declares Yah. So he's going to send the Redeemer to deliver. There was not an intercessor. There was not one to deliver. So he sends Mashiach in the last days. As for me, this is my covenant with them. Who? Those that do righteousness. In Jacob. As for me, this is my covenant with them, said Yah, my Ruach that is upon you, and my words that I have put in your mouth shall not be withdrawn from your mouth, nor from the mouth of your descendants, nor from the mouth of your descendants' descendants, said Yah, from this time and forever. He's going to repay them. That is shalom. It is to requite, repay, recompense. He's going to reward them according to their deeds. That's the bottom line of Torah. What you do is going to be poured back into your lap. How you treat people is going to be poured back into your lap. He's going to repay you, reward you for what you do. He's rewarding you for your deeds and how you treat people. So, that is the whole sum of it. He's going to requite, repay, recompense, reward. Those that depart from evil, they do righteousness. Continuing on. So, we know what's happening. So who is he talking to and continuing to talk to in Isaiah 60? Those who depart from evil. Those that are in Jacob. Those that are stopping doing transgressions. So those that repent. So Isaiah 60, arise, shine, for your light has come, and the esteem of Yah has risen upon you. Who? We already know. For look, darkness covers the earth, and darkness clouds the people. But Yah arises over you, and his esteem is seen upon you. And the nations shall come to your light, and the sovereigns to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes all around and see. All of them have gathered. They have come to you. Your sons come from afar, and your daughters are supported on their side. By who? The sovereigns. The sovereigns are doing this. So whatever you believe, Yah is going to use the nations to bring his people back in. And I've thought about that many times. Because how do you figure that they got all the Jews during the Holocaust into the concentration camps? They got them up somehow. And they collected them all. There's a way that they can collect us all and take us where they want us. Yah can use the nations to do that. And what does he say in Jeremiah? We're not off scot-free. If it's Scott or Scotch. I think it's Scott. I don't know why he got that name, but Scott. But anyway, scotch-free. I don't remember. We're not off. We don't get away. He said, I'm going to punish you. You're not going to be obliterated, but you will be punished for your sins. Jacob. That's in Jeremiah. So, Scott or Scotch. Anyway. For look, darkness covers the earth. The Gentiles shall come in your light. The sovereigns are going to bear up your daughters and support them on their sides. Verse 5, then you shall see and be bright, and your heart shall throb and swell, for the wealth of the sea is turned to you. The riches of the nations come to you. We have been, and you see this in correlation with Isaiah 53. You have been downtrodden. You have been stricken. You have been called stricken of God, O nation of Israel. So you see that in correlation to what's happening in Isaiah 60. There will be a time that Yah will no longer break down and ruin. He's going to build up. Continuing on, then you shall see and be bright, and your heart shall throb and swell, for the wealth of the sea is turned to you. The riches of the nations come to you. A stream of camels cover your land, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All those from Sheba come, bearing gold and incense and proclaiming the praises of Yah. And no other El. I just love it. All the flocks of Kedar are gathered to you. The rams of Nebaioth serve you. They come up for acceptance on my altar, and I embellish my esteemed house. Who are these who fly like a cloud and like doves to their windows? Because the coastlands wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring your sons from afar. Period. We're getting there. And you ain't going to have a plane ticket. You're going to be coming in on boats and whatever. But Yah is going to gather you up as he has promised, and he's going to take you to the homeland. Their silver and their gold with them, to the name of Yah your Elohim, and to the set apart one of Israel, because he has adorned you. Who is it? Those that turn unto righteousness. Those that repent and turn from evil. Continue on. So they bring you on the ships their silver with their gold with them, to the name of Yah your Elohim, and to the set apart one of Israel, because he has adorned you. And the sons of foreigners shall build your walls, and their sovereigns serve you. For in my wrath I have smitten you, but in my delight I shall have compassion on you. He broke down and he's going to build up. In order for you to be a part of Yah, you got to realize you got to be humble before him. That he knows all. He is in control of all. Everything serves his purpose. And your gates shall be open continually. They are not shut day or night to bring to you the wealth of the nations and their sovereigns in procession. For the nation and the reign that do not serve you shall perish, and those nations shall be utterly laid waste. The esteem of Lebanon shall come to you, cypress, pine, and the box tree together, to embellish the place of my mikdash. And I shall make the place of my feet esteemed. I'm just so happy. And the sons of those who afflicted you come bowing down to you. And all those who despised you shall bow themselves at the soles of your feet. And they shall call you city of Yah, Zion of the set apart one of Israel. Instead of you being forsaken and hated. Isaiah 53. Correlation to this. So that no one passes through you, I shall make you an everlasting excellence, a joy of many generations. And you shall drink dry the milk of the Gentiles, and shall milk the breast of sovereigns. And you shall know that I, Yah, your sovereign and your redeemer, and am the Elohim of Yaakov. What does that mean? They are going to support you. That's what that means. They're going to support you. Instead of the bronze, I bring gold. Instead of the iron, I bring silver, and bronze instead of wood, and iron instead of stones. And I shall make your officers peace, and your magistrates righteousness. Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, neither wasting nor ruin. And you think about this small remnant that was in Isaiah's time and in Jeremiah's time, and the wickedness that was around them, and the affliction that they felt for being righteous. And he gives them hope. I'm going to deliver you. I am with you. You are my people. Violence shall no longer be heard in the land, neither wasting nor ruin within your borders, and you shall call your walls deliverance and your gates praise. No longer is the sun your light by day, nor the moon give light to you for brightness. But Yah shall be to you an everlasting light, and your Elohim your comeliness. No longer does your sun go down, nor your moon withdraw itself, for Yah shall be your everlasting light, and the days of your mourning shall be ended. And your people, all of them, righteous, shall inherit the earth forever. You're not going to heaven. You inherit the earth forever. That land is yours. A branch of my planting, a works of my hands to be adorned. The little shall become 1,000, and the small one a strong nation. I, Yah, shall hasten it in its time. But you got to be patient. Why? Because it's not on your time. It's on his time. The question is, as he speaks, are you ready? No, we're not. We got so much work to do left. So much spiritual work left on us. We're not ready. Psalms 34. So I was connecting that with Isaiah 53. Though you may be beaten, stricken, wounded, trodden down, righteousness always prevails. Always. You look at the history of Israel. Whenever they would rebel, Yah would send them rulers over them to afflict them. But what happened? As soon as they turned back and they saw that their sins caused this, Yah sent them judges over the people to deliver them. So, righteousness always prevails. Even though we feel like we live in a wicked land, in a wicked place, in a wicked world, it's not going to be forever. Psalms 34, the whole thing. Psalms 34. Of David, when he changed his behavior before Abimelech, who drove him away, and he departed. I bless Yah, Barak Yah at all times. His praise is continually in my mouth. My being shall boast in Yah. Let the humble hear and be glad. I think about pride. Pride will ruin you. It ruins your relationships. It ruins the fellowship. Whatever. Being proud ruins people. But being humble exalts people. His praise is continually in my mouth. My being shall boast in Yah. Let the humble hear and be glad. Oh, make Yah great with me. Let's praise his name and let us exalt his name together. Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah. Thank you. Okay, let's praise his name together. I sought Yah and he answered me. Have you ever been in that place? I sought Yah and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. That word trust. Okay, that word trust. I think we talked about it last week or the week before. It means to be carefree. If you doubt and you have many worries and many care, how much do you trust? I sought Yah and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. They looked to him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor one cried out, and Yah heard him and saved him out of all his distresses. And I love Proverbs. Many are the distresses of the righteous, but Yah delivers him out of every single one. You think about your problems that you used to have, and we say that often. You think about the problems that you used to have. Where are they now? Where are they now? He delivered you out of all of them. And if you are his people, nothing has changed. He's going to deliver you again and again and again and again. He saved him out of all his distresses. The messenger of Yah encamps all around those who revere him. That's self-discipline. And rescues them. Oh, taste and see that Yah is good. I think we've all been there. Baruch is the man that takes refuge in him. Revere Yah, you his set-apart ones, for there is no lack to them who revere him. And I feel that way, that even though there could be trouble and there's trying times, I lack nothing. I'm satisfied with what Yah has given me. Period. So, revere Yah, you set apart ones, for there is no lack to them who revere Yah. It's an understanding that Yah provides. It's an understanding that Yah is in control. He does the evil and he does the good. If you read in Isaiah, I think that's where that's at, but I know it's in one of the prophets, that it is him. When you think about Job, have you considered my servant Job? And he sent him. Yah is over all. It ain't no devil. Even if you think that the adversary, whatever it is, whatever you want to call the adversary, Yah controls him too. It's all Yah. There is no fight. If Yah fights against anybody, and we'll talk about that when we get to it because he gave us a revelation. If Yah fights against anybody, he's fighting against wicked men. He's fighting against the rebellious people. That's who Yah fights against. When man comes up with his own devices, that's the one that Yah fights. Blessed. Baruch is the man that takes refuge in him. Verse 9. Revere Yah, you his set apart ones, for there is no lack to them who revere him. Young lions have lacked and been hungry, and those who seek Yah lack not any goodness. Come, you children, listen to me. Teach me, or let me teach you the reverence of Yah. Okay? This is the root of where we're getting. Come and let me teach you the reverence of Yah. We talked about it last week, and we're going to drive that home. Self-discipline, self-control is the reverence of Yah. That's whatever your speech, your actions, your behavior, whatever it is. That is self-control. That is the reverence of Yah. So he said, let me teach you. And notice, I don't just make stuff up. Let me teach you the reverence of Yah. Who is the man who desires life and loves many days in order to see good? What's the next thing? Keep your tongue from evil. So, what are you doing? Controlling what you say. And your lips from speaking deceit. Turn away from evil and do good. What are you doing? You're changing your behavior. You're controlling the way you act. Let me teach you the reverence of Yah. Turn away from evil and do good. Seek peace. Where's that peace? What is that peace? It's peace with Yah. That's what that is. Watch what you say. Watch what you do. Seek peace with Yah and pursue it. That word pursue. Where is it at? It's radaf. It is be behind. You're right after it. To be right behind, follow after, pursue. It is to persecute. So if you think about somebody who's persecuting somebody, they're on their heels. Run after, chase. You are pursuing peace with Yah. It's like it's trying to get away from you and you can never just grab it. Chase. The word literally, it had dog in there. Dog. Like a dog after a ball. I played with Toby this morning and we had that little, I think it's a little buffalo or whatever, but it's flat. And you throw something for a dog and he is after it. He pursues it. He is not satisfied until he's got it. And my favorite thing, just a little side note, is when he's got that squeaky and he's coming back. But anyway, so that dog pursues after that peace. And it's not necessarily peace with the world, it's peace with Yah. That's the reverence of Yah. Let me teach you the reverence of Yah. It's self-control. Pursue, continuing on. Run after, chase, dog, attend closely upon, aim to secure, aim eagerly to secure. That's the verse we wanted to get to. The relationship that you have with Yah. Self-control that you have in your life. What you say, how you act. That is the reverence of Yah. Seek peace and pursue it. Maybe y'all think about Toby this week. So, seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of Yah are on who? The righteous. And his ears unto their cry. His ears unto their cry. The face of Yah is against evildoers, to cut off their remembrance from the earth. Crying out, and Yah heard and delivered them out of all their distresses. Who? The righteous. Yah is near to the brokenhearted, and saves those whose spirit is crushed. Many are the troubles, evils of the righteous, but Yah delivers him, so there's the verse, out of them all. He is guarding all his bones. No, not one of them is broken. Evil slays the wicked. Trouble slays the wicked. And those who hate the righteous are guilty. Yah redeems the life of his servants, and none of those taking refuge in him are guilty. Righteousness always prevails. Even though and when we get into Psalm 73, he says he looked at the wicked, and it's almost like when you look at the wicked, how blessed are they? How blessed are they? And Asaph, he goes, I'd almost slipped. I'd almost tripped and fell because I thought, why have I cleansed my hands in righteousness? Why have I sought a righteous life when the wicked are out here and they live an easy life? But then he said, oop, Yah woke me up. And he said, when I went into the temple, I saw. This is the thing, while we're talking about it, before we get into it, the wicked see that there's no end. And what I mean by that is there's no consequence to the sin. As I was talking with my buddy yesterday, they see that there is no end or consequence to the sin. You think about adultery, okay? When somebody commits adultery, all they're thinking about is that very moment of adultery. There's nothing else. There's no end. There's no consequence. But then what happens after you commit adultery? The wicked do not think about the end, or how what they do affects their environment. There's no end for the wicked. But if you read in Psalm 73, he said, there's an end for them. I've seen their end. And you should see your end too. That righteousness has a purpose. It serves a purpose in your life. Doing good serves a purpose in your life. Not only for you, but for others. Seek peace and pursue it. So, I've already read through all that. Faithfulness to protect. Which one is that? I think that's the righteous one. Guard, watch, preserve, keep, guard. Continuing on, turn aside, depart from evil, that is to be removed. Righteousness, good, always prevails in the end. Let us go to Psalm 73. So we were just talking about that, but now let's get a grip of what we were actually talking about. So Psalm 73, the very first part, the Psalm of Asaph, or Asaph, Soph, whatever. Elohim is truly good to Israel, to those whose heart is clean. That word clean is bar. It is pure, clean, emptied, so purified, innocent. Beloved, it is choice, it is clear. So Elohim is truly good to Israel, to those whose heart is clean. But as for me, my feet had almost stumbled, my steps had nearly slipped. For I was envious of the boasters when I saw the peace of the wicked, because they see no end to their deeds. They don't think of the consequence of what they do. For I was envious of the boasters when I saw the peace of the wicked, for death has no pangs on them. They don't think about the end. And their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, and they are not plagued like other men. So pride is their necklace. The garment of violence covers them. Their eyes bulge with fatness. Their ears overflow with imaginations. They mock and speak in the evil of oppression. They speak loftily. They have put their mouth against the Shemaim. They speak evil against Yah. And their tongue walks through the earth. So it's everywhere. They're everywhere. They speak evil everywhere. Their tongue walks through the earth. Therefore his people return here, and waters filled are drained by them. So after they are finished doing that, they fill up again. And they have said, how could El know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? See, these are the wicked. So he was envious of these people. It's like they get away with everything. It's almost like they're blessed in the earth. And always at ease. They have amassed wealth. Indeed, in vain, I have cleansed my heart. Why do they get all this stuff? And I'm over here crushed every day. That's what he's saying. I'm over here chastised and crushed and corrected by Yah. And they're out here doing whatever they want to. And there's no remorse. They do not see their end. Notice what he says. Indeed, I have cleansed my heart and washed my hands in innocency. For I am plagued all day long, and my reproof is every morning. Yah is correcting him. Yah's getting on to him. If I had said, let me speak thus. Now, what is he talking about? I have done this for nothing. I have cleansed my hands. I have done righteousness, and there's no reward for it. And he said, I'm plagued all the day. If I had said this, let me speak thus. See, I would have deceived a generation of your children. So there's no point in you living a righteous life. He said, if I would have said that, I would have deceived a generation of Yah's children. Yet, when I tried to understand this, it was labor to my eyes. Man, it'll wear you out. Why do the wicked prosper? Why does it seem like they live an easy life? Why do they have all these things? Why do they amass wealth? Why? And I am downtrodden daily. Yet when I tried to understand this, it was labor to my eyes. It said it wore him out. Until I went to the Mikdash of El and perceived their end. They have an end. Everything has an end. When we get into Ecclesiastes, death is the end of everyone. There is an end of everything. Adultery does not continue forever. Eventually, it catches up to you. If you think about Proverbs, it says like it's fire in your bosom. And it says that if the man, say that a man was committing adultery with another person, another man's wife, it says that that envy can never be quenched on that man. That man's envy toward that other man will never be quenched. It can never be satisfied if you take somebody else's wife. It's like fire in your bosom. So, continuing on. He said, I considered, and I seen their end. there's an end for you too, for those that do righteousness. There is a purpose that Yah has in your life. He saw their end. Indeed, you put them in slippery places. They enjoy the now. They enjoy the excess. They enjoy the pleasure and the sin. And there is an end to that. You make them fall to ruins. How suddenly they are ruined. Why? Because they're so caught up in the excess of life. It's going to suddenly come upon them and the rug's going to be ripped out from under their feet. Slippery paths. Completely swept away through destructions. Yah, when you awake, you despise their image. So, we are made in the image of Yah. He just speaks and I'll speak. Made in the image of Yah, and we talked about that whenever we talk about the Tower of Babel. They created a name for themselves. They wanted to do something apart from what Yah had set. And when we get into that, we'll talk about Christianity. Because I got all this from seeing the star. And we'll talk about that. Yeah. Are you? When I saw the star. Okay. So, but anyway, they have left and tried to create their own name. They left and tried to create their own image. He despises their image, as one does a dream after waking. For my heart was in a ferment, and I was pierced in my kidneys. I was stupid and ignorant. I was like a beast towards you, yet I am always with you. You took hold of my right hand. You lead me by your counsel, and afterward receive me unto esteem. Who do I have in the Shamayim? And I have desired no one beside you on earth. My flesh and my heart shall waste away. Elohim is the rock of my heart, and my portion forever. That's the desire that we should have. There's nobody but Yah. Elohim is my rock and my heart and my portion forever. For look, those who are far from you perish. You shall cut off all those who go whoring away from you to make their own image, to leave your Torah. But as for me, it is good to be near Elohim. I have made my refuge in the Master, Yah, to declare all your works. So the wicked have an end. They seem blessed. But he said, when I went to the Mikdash, I saw that they all have an end. Ecclesiastes 7, and we'll read that real quick, because it's just verse 1 and 2. Ecclesiastes 7, verse 1 and 2. A name is better than precious oil, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. So through your life, if you have lived a good life, the end of your life is better than when you were born, okay? Because you have accumulated good deeds through your life. You have accumulated, as it says, a name is better than precious oil. You have accumulated a good name, a good reputation. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. The way that is taught, you hear someone's eulogy. You never go to someone's funeral and hear all the bad things that person did in their life. So one's death is better than one's life. So, sorry about that. Mourning. Let me read that again. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. Why? Because you learn more through somebody's death than you do through the joys of life. So you hear somebody's eulogy, they talk about this person was so good, they fed the poor, they did this, they did that. So you can learn more in the house of mourning. Notice what it says after that. For that is the end of all men, and the living take it to heart. Like we were talking about in Psalm 73. Everybody's got an end. Are you considering your end? And notice what he says, the living take it to heart. I will be there one day. Take it to heart how you live your life and how you treat other people. Take it to heart. Everybody's going to end up in that coffin. Death is the end of us all, but do the wicked consider that there is a reward for evil? 2 Kings. I just felt like saying that. I just get so excited. I just love, how he leads us in his word. So 2 Kings. Everybody's heard of Hezekiah. 2 Kings, and you might not ever have heard this verse, though. 2 Kings 17, and we'll start in 29. 2 Kings 17:29. And we're trying to get the backstory before we go into 18, 1 through 8. So what was happening in Israel at this time? This is Hezekiah's time. What's happening? Israel's being taken away. It was not just a one-stop shop. It was over a period of time that happened. And now Sennacherib is wanting Hezekiah. He's wanting to come into, I think, Jerusalem, Judah, Judea. I can't recall. That's not the concept that I'm trying to get to, though. So wickedness around. Right on the heels of Hezekiah. About to come in and wants to take over Hezekiah as the king. So wickedness. Let's see here now. 2 Kings 17 and verse 29. But every nation was making mighty ones of its own, their own image, their own name, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Shemaronites had made, every nation in the cities where they dwelt. And the name of Babel made Succoth Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Awites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Sherawites made, got that one wrong, Sepharwites, made their children in the fire to Adremelech and Anamelech, the mighty ones of Seraphim. They also revered Yah. So they made sacrifices to their idols and said that they loved Yah. They also revered Yah, and from every class they made for themselves priests of the high places who offered for them in the house of the high places. They were revering Yah, and they were serving their own mighty ones, according to the ruling of the nations from among whom they had been exiled. To this day, they are doing according to the former right rulings, or to the former rulings. They're still doing that. Setting up their idols and still trying to revere Yah. They are not revering Yah, nor do they follow their laws of their right rulings, or the Torah and the command which Yah had commanded the children of Yaakov, whose name he made Yisrael. And we'll get to that too. With whom Yah had made a covenant and commanded them, saying, do not revere other mighty ones, nor bow down to them, nor serve them, nor slaughter to them. But Yah, who brought you up from the land of Mitzrayim with great power and with an outstretched arm, him you shall revere. So in order, serve him through self-control and discipline, watching what you say and watching what you do. And to him you shall bow yourself, and to him you shall slaughter, to Yah. And guard to do forever the laws and the right rulings and the Torah and the command which he wrote for you. And do not revere other mighty ones, and do not forget the covenant that I have made with you, and do not revere other mighty ones, and revere Yah your Elohim, so that he delivers you from the hand of all your enemies. But they did not obey, and did according to their former right ruling. So they two-sided. They were on the fence. So these nations were revering Yah and served their carved images, both their children and their children's children, and their fathers did as their fathers did. They are doing to this day. Now, we'll get into the part, because this is the part with the serpent. Okay? Because there was a question on Facebook this week. What about the serpent? Because it talks about do not make idols and images. Well, Moses made the serpent. And then here in 2 Kings, they start bowing down to it. And he destroys it. So, it was in reverence to Yah. If you obey, that's what the whole purpose of it is. If you obey and look at the serpent, you're going to live. It doesn't have anything to do with Jesus Christ. Okay? Jesus Christ is not the serpent on the pole. Okay? It's just about obedience. I'm giving you a way to life. If you get bitten, obey me, and you shall live. That's the basics of it. Obey me, you shall live. But what happened? There were people that were stubborn and would not do that. And then what happened? When they disobeyed, they died. Period. It's not about look to Jesus and live. That's not what that's about. It's all about obedience. Now, later on, they still have the serpent, and they start bowing down to the image. It's not about the image. It's about whether you reverence it or not. So, continuing on. And it came to be, I think I've already got through all that. Yes, verse 8 or chapter 18, Hezekiah. Thank you, Yah. Okay, so thank you for good kings. 2 Kings 18:1. And it came to be in the third year of Hoshea, son of Elah, sovereign of Israel, that Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, sovereign of Yehuda, began to reign. He began to reign. He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Abi, daughter of Zechariah. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yah, according to all that his father David did. And we make that connection often. If you are a rebellious son, you did as Ahab. And if you are a righteous son, you did as David. He took away the high places. Oh, thank you, Hezekiah. He took away the high places and broke the pillars and cut down the Asherah and broke into pieces the bronze serpent which Moses had made. For until those days the children of Israel burned incense to it and called it Nehushtan. So they started worshiping it. Okay, because if you think, even in the temple, even on the Ark of the Covenant, there's cherubim. So, continuing on. Thank you, Yah, for Hezekiah. And he put his trust, so he was careless when it came to Yah. Yah was going to take care of everything that Hezekiah did. He put his trust in Yah, Elohim of Israel, and after him, notice, was none like him among all the sovereigns of Yehuda, and nor were there before him. So you know what that means? No Jesus. There was none after him that was like him, and there was none before him that was like Hezekiah. He was the best. He was the sovereign. He did what Yah told him to do. Now, even though there was wickedness around them, and Sennacherib was taking Israel, he held on tight to Yah. And you know what? Yah always wins. Righteousness always wins. Yah prevails. I never thought that I would have the opportunity to title a message, Israel. Israel is the title of this message. You know why? Because Yah always prevails. Continuing on. He put his trust in Elohim. He clung to Yah. He did not turn away from following him, but guarded his commands which Yah had commanded Moshe. Continuing on. And Yah was with him. Wherever he went, he acted wisely. And he rebelled against the sovereign of Assyria and did not serve him. He smote the Philistines as far as Azah and its borders, from the watchtower to the walled city. Righteousness always wins. And then if you want to continue, we know this story. This is the story. It goes right into Sennacherib saying, why are you trusting in Hezekiah? Don't trust in his God. Look what I've done to all these other gods. Where are they at? And then he comes in and Yah takes care of business. Wickedness was rampant in Israel. Israel was being scattered. Hezekiah should have been scared. After him was none like him or before him. Yah protected Hezekiah. The men made their own gods and they made their own ways. Isaiah 14. All of it. We got this. This is the last one that we're going to get into, but we have a lot of points that we want to hit in it. So, Isaiah 14. For Yah has compassion on Yaakov and shall again choose Israel and give them rest in their own land, and the strangers shall join them, and they shall cling to the house of Yaakov. And people shall take them and bring them to their own place. That's two witnesses. They're going to pick us up. They're going to take us over there. And the house of Israel shall possess them for servants. That was also, again, in Isaiah. That was said. Possess them for servants and female servants in the land of Yah, and they shall make captives of their captors and rule over their oppressors. And it shall be in the day Yah gives you rest from your sorrow and from your trouble and the hard service in which you had made to serve, that you shall take up this proverb against the sovereign of Babel and say, now, this is the chapter about Lucifer. This is the chapter about Lucifer, okay? If you read And you see this, the very beginning. Who is he talking to? Who is Lucifer? It's the king of Babel. That's who Lucifer is. Okay? And Lucifer had raised himself above the throne of Yah. Now, if you read that word Lucifer, what does it mean? I'll get to that too. It's Hallel. Lucifer. Light bearer. Morning star. Brightness. Remember that morning star. Okay. Because they believe that although this happened during the time of Babel and Nebuchadnezzar and all that was happening, that this is a foreshadowing of what will happen. I am not saying that Lucifer is Satan at all. I am saying Lucifer is the light bearer who did what? Ruled the nations. Okay, so is this a foreshadowing? Some people say that this is a foreshadowing of what Mashiach shall do. And he shall destroy the Babylonian system, or just the system of the then known world. I thought it was pretty interesting, so let's continue on here. There's one point that I really want to hit on because it is so good. So, verse 4, and they shall take up this proverb. While I am thinking about this, and Yah is telling us, this did happen when Cyrus came in and allowed them to what? Go back and rebuild. So they did have rest then. So this did happen. Continuing on. Now you shall take up the proverb against the sovereign of Babel and say, how the oppressor has ceased, the gold gatherer ceased. Yah has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the rulers. He has smote the people in wrath with ceaseless blows. He who ruled the nations in displeasure is persecuted and no one restrains. So do I believe that this is a foreshadowing of what shall happen? We do not have rest right now. So I do believe on some note that this is a foreshadowing of what shall happen because he is talking about the one who rules the nations. But Lucifer is a man. Get that. Yah has broken the staff. All the earth is at rest and at peace, and they shall break forth into singing. So that shall happen. Even the cypress trees rejoice over you, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since you were cut down, no woodcutter has come up against us. So Yah is just so good. Why were they cutting down trees in the first thing? Idol worship. But you see how Yah is going to take care, and there will be peace on earth. The nations will rest. The grave from beneath is excited about you, O king. To meet you at your coming, it stirs up the dead for you. All the chief ones of the earth it has raised up from their thrones, all the sovereigns of the nations. All of them respond and say to you, have you also become as weak as we? Have you become like us, king? Is what he is saying. Your power and your might, O king, you have become low. Your arrogance has brought down to the grave, or has been brought down to the grave, and the sound of your stringed instruments, the maggot is spread under you, the worms cover you. How have you fallen from the Shemaim, O Hallel? Now, what is that in reference to? His high and lofty state. He was up here. How have you fallen from your high and lofty state? You was like you were in the Shemaim, but now you are as low as we are. The one who rules the nations. Like I said, if Yah has anybody that he fights against, who is it? Wicked men. So, how have you fallen from the Shemaim, O Hallel, son of the morning? So, what does that word? That is morning star. Morning star. Bright star. Bright one. I'm already there, so I'm going to flip over here. Lucifer, light bearer, shining one. It is Hallel, morning star, brightness. Venus. What is it?
Venus.
Venus. It is the morning star, the Venus, and we're going to get to that too. Venus is the morning star, the evening star. It is a representation of love and beauty. Okay, so how have you fallen from your lofty state? For you have said in your heart, O king, let me go up to the Shemaim. I'm going to be higher than Yah. Let me raise my throne above the stars of El, and let me sit in the mount of meeting and on the sides of the north. Let me go up above the heights of the clouds. Let me be like the Most High. Now notice verse 13. Let me raise my throne. What's that a representation of? What's that? What is that a representation of? the rain. Not R-A-I-N, R-E-I-G-N. So what is he going to do? He's going to raise his reign, his authority, power above that of Yah. So what has Yah done? Yah has set Torah. Okay? This is my standard. This is what my government is built on. My instructions, you follow them. Well, what's he going to do? He's going to raise himself above that. Christianity. Notice, he is the morning star. Where did we get the idea of this message at? Bethlehem. Christmas. What is above the trough? God, Yah is so good. It's the star. What is the star? I'm telling you, it's not Jesus, it's the church. Jesus is the head of the church. Jesus is the cornerstone of the church. They are the ones that have raised themselves above the throne of Yah and wiped out his Torah. They have made new laws. They have made new instructions. They have set up their God. It's really going to strike you whenever we get into Revelation. How have you become so low? Yah is going to destroy that system. Your arrogance has been brought down to the grave, and sound of your stringed instruments, the maggots, is spread under you. For you have said in your heart, verse 13, let me go up to the Shamayim, and let me raise my throne above the stars of El. So their authority to rewrite Scripture, they think that's been given to them. And let me sit in the mount of meeting and on the sides of the north. Let me go up above the heights of the clouds. Let me be like the Most High. They set up their mighty one. But you are brought down to the grave and to the sides of the pit. Yah is going to destroy their Mashiach with the real Mashiach. Those who see you stare at you and ponder over you, saying, is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook the reins? Like I said, he fights against wicked people.
Not fallen angels.
Not fallen angels. Yah is against the man who made that up. He is against the religious system. Who made the worlds, and that's the one that sticks out to me so much, is that here's Yah's throne, and they took their authority above that. They are the morning star. Who made the world as a wilderness and destroyed its cities, who would not open the house of his prisoners. All the sovereigns of the nations, all of them were laid in esteem, everyone in his own house. But you have been thrown from your grave like an abominable branch. Wow, I never saw that part. And you'll see that when we get in here. I am the root of Jesse. I am the root of David, the branch. Like the garment of those who are slain, thrust through with the sword, who go down to the stones of the pit like a trampled corpse. You are not joined with them in burial, for you have destroyed your land and slain your people. Let the seed of evildoers never be mentioned. Prepare his children for slaughter because of the wickedness of their fathers, lest they rise up and possess the land and fill the face of the world with cities. And I shall raise up against them. Let's see where I'm going. I think I'll read all of 14. I shall raise up against them. Possess the land, fill the face of the world with the cities. I shall raise up against them, verse 22, declares Yah of hosts, and shall cut off from Babel the name and remnant and offspring and descendant, declares Yah. And I shall make it a possession for the porcupine and the marshes of muddy water, and shall sweep it with the broom of destruction, declares Yah of hosts. Yah of hosts has sworn, saying, truly I have planned, so shall it be, and as I have purposed, so it stands. To break Assyria with my hand and tread down on my mountains, and his yoke shall be moved from them, and his burden removed from their shoulders. This is the counsel that I counseled in all the earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out over all the nations. For Yah of hosts has counseled, and who annuls it? And his hand that it is stretched out, who turns it back? This is the message which came in the year of the sovereign of Ahaz. He died. Do not rejoice, all you at Pelesheth, that the rod that smote you is broken. For out of the serpent's roots comes forth an adder, and its offspring is a fiery flying serpent. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy lie down in safety. And I shall kill your roots with scarcity of food, and shall slay your remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, howl, O gate, cry, O city, melt away all you of Peresheth. For smoke shall come from the north, and there is no stranger in his ranks. And what does one answer the messenger of a nation? That Yah has founded Zion, and the poor of his people take refuge in it. So, all of that to be said, Jesus Christ is the church that has raised itself above the throne of Yah. The church is built on Jesus. I looked at that star, and I was like, the star's not Jesus, the star is the church. The teaching doctrine, their teachings and their doctrine is the morning star. It is man. I will raise my throne, my reign, my authority above the authority of Yah. It is the church, the star, and I thought about the nativity scene. They have changed Yah's truth and deceived the people through a lie by their authority. Link the two stars together. So like Jason was saying, the morning star is Venus. It is the morning star, or they call it the evening star. It is the god of love and beauty. O morning star, how have you been fallen? Revelation 22:16. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you there things in the churches. I am the root. There's that branch. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. The church raised Jesus' authority to change Yah's law and make a new covenant. Yah will prevail. The title of this message is Israel. Everybody have a blessed Sabbath. Shabbat shalom.